Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the Spiritual Foundation for a New Era special workshop. We always love these special workshops because we get to spend some time strengthening our practice and transforming ethereal concepts into practical, real world application. And this month, we have two of these special workshops. The inspiration for these free workshops was to support an ever growing number of you who are recognizing the world's challenges and are looking for ways to develop yourselves to meet those challenges, to cultivate resilience and become empowered, conscious creators of your own reality. We know there are thousands, perhaps millions of you around the world who are waking up with a desire to connect with others who are also waking up. Those of you who are eager to access more of yourselves, to know all of yourselves, and to create an inner alignment within yourself. And those of you who desire to be change agents for humanity and for the earth. To help you with that, we've been transmitting energy and words of wisdom from celestial guides and providing you meditations and practices to help you on your journey. If you're just joining us, that's great. You don't have to have participated in any past events. There are no prerequisites to receive the work. For those of you who are new, my name is Crystal. I'm with the Evolution One Foundation that transmits this work out to the world and supports all those who are engaged in it. I'm here today to guide you into and out of the session. The format of the session will start with a few words from a seal, then moved into a channeling. After the channeling, we'll give you a few moments to land, and then there'll be a 15-minute intermission. When we come back together, we'll have an opportunity to ask a seal any questions in the chats about a spiritual foundation for a new era. These questions could be curiosities you've long held or questions sparked from the words of wisdom that will be shared during the session. Then there will be a final meditation guided by a seal. We do have some newcomers today, so I'd like to share a little bit to give you some context for the work. Over the last 20 years, a seal has studied amongst various spiritual traditions. About a decade ago, he had a strong experience that opened a connection that we now refer to today as the channel. This is a powerful connection of both energy and wisdom, which a seal embodies and transmits as a trance channel. Through this connection, energy passes through him and reaches all those who tune into the transmission, either live or recorded. This energy contains specific frequencies and words of wisdom that can impact your physical, mental, emotional aspects, and more subtle aspects of your own energy field. This energy allows you to align, go deeper in your meditation, connect deeper with your own consciousness, and receive guidance to support your journey into consciousness evolution. A seal's process of going into trance includes spontaneous hand and body movements and rapid breathing. This may not seem normal, but we assure you everything is okay. His daily human consciousness is still available to him while he's channeling, and he can stop the channeling at any time. While this is happening, you can use the time to find inner silence and stillness, and depending on your level of meditation practice, establish a sense of presence and inner alignment. The channel will bring through guides who specifically present themselves with the names that humanity has given them. You might recognize these names as angels or archangels, but they never refer to themselves as such. Once the energy builds, an energetic field is established. Then an energetic transmission of words and energy will begin. People report having powerful experiences even during video recordings. So it's really simple. During this time, sit comfortably or lie down and focus on being in an open meditative state. Just by being receptive, you've included yourself within this field. During the session, you can invite your higher self in. You can set an intention to release old wounds, thoughts, emotions, or anything that no longer serves you. People do share that things come up despite the absence of an intention. So if that approach feels better for you, just flow with it. During the session, we recommend you listen in a space where you will not be interrupted and you turn off your device notifications. We also recommend that you stay tuned in throughout the entire session. But if you're in a deep meditative state, it's okay if you aren't able to follow every word. The benefit of staying with us is what's most important, and the words can be listened to or read again later. When the session is over, we will sit together in silence for a few moments before I guide everyone back. For now, get comfortable and enjoy your journey. I'll see you back here upon your return.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome. This special transmission and special workshop was inspired by the guidance, the transmissions that we have been receiving over the past years. Specifically, more often in the past months and the past year, where the guides talk about the changing landscape that we are living in. Now, we observe changes in many different ways, most predominantly in changes of our own reality, the life that we live, the relationships that we have, the perception, the thoughts, the emotions that we hold. Then also, we perceive changes in our environment, the changes of this earth itself, the changes of the sun itself, and maybe also changes connected to many other cosmological bodies. Everything that is changing is either a symptom or part of the greater change that is moving through this plane of existence. And this change, this rising of energy on this earthly plane, is seeping into all cosmological bodies, all stars, including our sun, and then also into the earth and through the earth, as well as through our own bodies. This shift is changing the way we observe, we perceive reality, the way we relate to each other, we relate to ourselves, and the way we relate to nature and all of existence. Our perception of self, our perception of everything is changing as a result of this rising of energies. So, how do we receive this energy? How do we receive these changes with grace? How do we allow the energy to carry us rather than be destabilized by the energy, confused, ungrounded, deconstructed, and potentially lost? And just like anyone in this human experience, we can feel these elements of being human naturally, and there is nothing wrong with that. Yet, with the changing landscape of this environment that we are in, the rising of the energy of this reality, it will affect us even more strongly than before. And we, as human beings, can prepare. We as human beings can train and practice to receive the energy with grace, to allow the energy to be carried and uplift us. And that requires practice. That requires doing some inner work. Now, the spiritual foundation for a new era is this practice, is this guidance, is the choice to consciously transform as a human being. The choice that was given to you, to all of us, to truly look into the potential that we hold within ourselves as a human being and expand towards that potential, reach towards that potential, so we can become the greatest version of ourselves. And that choice is at the same time preparing us for this new era that is upon us. If we want it or not, these rising energies are similar to the rising temperatures that you all might be feeling. It's just part of what is happening right now. And there is a way to transform as a human being, to align as a human being, to allow these energies to move through us, to become truly present to what is occurring in our environment and to us, and how it affects us. If we are not practiced, if we are not aligned internally, the rising energy will destabilize us even more, take us on roller coaster rides, as some of you might have already experienced recently. We are luckily incredibly supported. We're not alone in this journey, and we never were. It is our journey, and that is respected, but we're not alone, and we have support. We have guidance. Though the work that we need to do, the choices that we have to make as individuals, they are ours. Having said all of that, I am incredibly grateful and happy to see all of you here because I believe together going through a personal, going through a spiritual transformation, establishing a new spiritual transformation within ourselves as individuals and as a community, as a family, and as a collective of humanity. We are truly blessed and privileged that we can do this and we have the opportunity to do this together. Thank you all for joining. The more of you join, the more potent and the more powerful these transmissions get, and the more impact we all receive. As a collective, what we receive is amplified through the entire human collective. Whatever energy we can receive and transmute is sent across the earthly plane to everyone. So we will have a practice towards the end to share this energy that we have accumulated, that we have brought together, catalyzed, and we will share it with the entire planet. But first, let's go into a transmission with the guides and with the Elohim. Greetings. We are Elohim. In this transformational process that humanity as a collective is undergoing, you are not a subject to the changes that are occurring. You are the one that has requested. You are the one that is creating this reality as a choice of steps for the evolution of your consciousness, both as an individualized soul as well as a collective of souls, as a collective consciousness that humanity represents. You make the choice for the reality that is required to occur. And the timelines that are truly requested by the majority of souls comes into fruition, into reality, into the experience that you're having right now. While truly all realities and all choices coexist, one reality carries a great significance in the evolution of its consciousness. You are experiencing this current reality, this current present moment that all of you right now share. In this current present moment, all of you have chosen to mature collectively as a species, as a collective consciousness, as individuals walking this path, receiving the transformational power that is available on this earthly plane. And the energies that were once available are returning and even further increasing to levels never experienced before on this earthly plane. This energy, utilized, received appropriately, will be of great benefit to those that can transmute the energy into life force, into mental, emotional, sexual, and spiritual energy. As energy is purely the raw creative love of creation, you are the receiver and the transmuter of that energy. The energy itself, once transmuted, becomes available and accessible, applicable to you. All aspects of your life receive that energy. Your thoughts, your emotions, your physical body, your livelihood, your soul, your consciousness, all parts of you receiving the benefits. Yet, as most individuals and humans are the descendants of many generations where the energy levels on this plane were low, most individuals on this earthly plane, in this human population, are not attuned and adjusted to the rising energies of this earthly plane. The energetic system of your physical body, of your mental, of your emotional, and of your energetic spiritual construct are not capable to receive this energy at the greatest capacity that you could, due to the traumas of the lineages that you have lived, the generations that have lived before, due to the environmental complexities that you're experiencing, due to the choices that you have made as humanity for food, for drinking, for consumption for the mind, for education. The alignment that is naturally available and accessible to you as you are born requires significant realignment. The conditioning of society, the conditioning of many lives lived, the conditioning of the previous generations that have lived before you has shaped humanity and has shaped who you are. Every choice that was once made, every aspect of life that hasn't been fully processed, every experience unrealized is an element of misalignment, seeking for greater alignment. Your soul naturally is programmed and attuned to seek greater alignment. Yet, due to the aspect of the mind and the heart and the physical body, being able to steer your choices in this reality based on the observations and the choices of the ego construct, you can truly omit the naturally driven impulses of the soul. You can suppress these aspects of the soul through the practice of seeking silence. The mind will find a moment of rest. The body will find a moment of rest. The heart will find a moment of rest. And in this moment of rest, you find yourself in a new state of presence. And this present state will become more and more potent in its depth and in its quality. No matter the circumstances of your environment, the depth and the quality of your presence increases, and your consciousness, the totality of your consciousness, becomes the present aspect of your being, your true self, your soul's voice, your seed of creation. Beyond the voices of the mind, beyond the voices of the heart and the voices of the body. This voice has a truth that leads you to seek a greater alignment within yourself, to seek the greatest harmony, the greatest attunement to your environment, the environment of this reality, this earth, this cosmology, this existence itself provides. Yet rarely, truly, in an aligned way, you and all of humanity receives. The capacity of a human being to truly receive this love of creation at greater levels is beyond your imagination. Being able to walk this human form, this human life, without any sickness, without any aging, without any aspect of pain, with full openness, full ability to observe the power of being human with all its senses and the senses that you haven't discovered yet. This is merely a singular scope of what is possible in this human form. Yet it is not for the possibilities of the human form that you will seek this path. It is for the natural unfolding that your soul will desire. A greater alignment in the human form, a greater attunement to the rising energies of this reality, a greater perception of life, of love, of creation itself. And the byproducts of this seeking of alignment, of this seeking of expansion and evolution of your consciousness, will truly fuel your health and your well being, your relationships, and your path as a human being. The evolution of your consciousness fuels the evolution of your being as a soul. All aspects of the lives that you have lived, all generations that have provided a reality for you, all relationships that you have developed, and most significantly, your relationship to yourself, to existence itself, to this earth, and to all conscious existence on this earth. This evolutionary process that you're undergoing is inevitable. All of humanity, all beings alive and perceivably not alive, will receive the increasing energies of this earthly plane. The earth itself, as a conscious being, is evolving and is expanding in its consciousness. The evolutionary processes that have started impact all beings on this earth, including the earth itself. You are affected by this change, by this increase of energy. And most of you have felt the change that is already emerging within you, within the environment, within the societies that you are part of. All of humanity will undergo this change. Yet, how you receive the transformational power of this reality will remain yours. Can you truly open yourself, your heart, your mind, and your body to shed that which has been collected over many generations and lifetimes, through the realizations that will emerge within you, through the silence and the presence that you will seek? Can you allow the space to occur within your life for this transformation to happen? Can you make this conscious choice now? This is the first step, the conscious choice of your soul, of your mind, of your heart, and of your body, aligned to open yourself to a great evolutionary process, a process that will bring forth a healing, an alignment, an expansion, many realizations, and a great evolution. And you will notice that this transformational process will change the ego construct, will change the emotional construct and the relationships established, the framework, the conditions, and the constructs of the relationships that you have. The physical body will receive the benefits as the energy that is moving through your body without barriers will now be utilized by the body naturally to replenish, rejuvenate, regenerate. A great healing occurs in all aspects of your being. This is the spiritual foundation required for the emerging period in humanity's transformation. You are the ones to walk this path. You are the ones to choose. You are the ones to receive. And as a result of your receptivity, as a result of your growth, as a result of your evolution, you become the ones to share abundantly, lovingly, generously. An example of transformation will be set by you. An example of livelihood, of love, of alignment, of presence will be set by you. You will embody the qualities of this new generation of human existence. You will embody the great potential of this human form, the power that is and has always been yours to hold and to wield. In this transformation, you will notice that the challenges that emerge are mostly challenges within yourself. Your response, your reaction, is the greatest challenge to any circumstance that is emerging in your life and in your environment. Therefore, the first aspects of dismantling will be the mental construct that has learned to judge a certain environmental experience, a human experience, in a specific way. The comforts that has been established, the expectations that have been established of yourself and of your environment. The dismantling of these constructs will be required so that you can learn to receive reality in a more open way, in a way that allows you to see reality with a wider perspective, with a clear understanding, and for you to observe the great possibilities of response and non response. This is the potential of your mental construct as it is expanded into the non dual aspect of your consciousness. This is the power that you hold as a human being evolving into this new generation of human existence. In this transformational process, as the acceleration is occurring and the energies are rising, the great accessibility of energy will be challenging to hold and to utilize. At first, an increased energy will feel challenging to the mind and challenging to the heart. Emotions will be stronger than usual. Thoughts and judgments, opinions, perspectives will be stronger than usual, leading to greater polarization within and without. The practice of finding silence within yourself and a deeper level of presence will allow you to observe the energy as it is moving through you, to observe the emotions and thoughts as they're being amplified within you. And in this building of your capacity, you become a master of observing your reality, a master that can observe the movement of energy, the movement of thought, the movement of emotion, and the movement of your physical form with mastery. And once you see more clearly from a place of alignment, from a place of an extended, expanded perspective, you are given the gift of wielding this energy that moves through you, a creative force that is now at your hands. What will you create? How will you use this power, this love, this creative force that moves now through you? How will you direct your thoughts? And how will you make your thoughts a reality? How will you extend your emotions into the relationships that you hold? How will you love yourself and everyone else? How will you treat this earth as a result of the power that you hold? How will you treat all of life? These are questions that you will know the answers to as you continue this process of evolution. Thank you for listening to our words. We will now commence with the adjustments to support you on this path of evolution, on this path of establishing a new spiritual foundation within yourself. Thank you for receiving this work. Our transmission is complete. As the energy is still moving strongly within this field that we have co created, I invite you to stay in this meditative state for as long as possible. Let it move to all cells of your body. Let this energy move into the deep corners of your heart, the deep corners of your consciousness, of your sub and unconscious aspects, deep corners of your mind, and witness how this energy has great healing qualities, has great aligning and uplifting qualities, a pure, potent energy. And greater we are aligned, the more energy we receive, which leads to more alignment. It is an upward spiral of growth, of expansion, of truly embodying the great potential within our being. And in this place that we're in, receive the energy that is moving through you and witness how it overflows from you into your environment, maybe your living room, your meditation room, your workspace, wherever you are. The environment that you're in is starting to receive the benefits of this energy. It is clearing, cleaning, and increasing the frequency of the space that you're in. And even further, beyond your own space, the energy moves into the collective field of your environment, be it neighbors, be it a town, be it a forest or a mountain, just like a wave moving from you and everyone that is within this meditation. You being the vessel and the seed of this beautiful creative light. And without obstruction, without barriers, we're allowing this energy to move, to benefit everyone. Our loved ones, our human family, our animal family, our plant family, all the living families of this earth, and the families of non material beings. The earth as a mother itself, and beyond this earthly plane, reaching many, many other planes of existence. a ripple effect without any bounds, an infinite reach of this love that moves through us. Thank you all for joining, and I am very excited to see you all in our upcoming Q&A and follow-up meditation.
Welcome back. Take a few moments to reconnect with your physical body, allowing yourself the time you need to fully return. For those who wish to remain in this serene state, feel free to close or turn off your device now and rejoin the world at your own pace, or rejoin us in 15 past the hour. Remember, you can always revisit the replay to catch anything you may have missed. Now let's gently bring our awareness back to our physical selves, focusing on your breath, noticing its rhythm as it flows in and out. Gradually expanding your awareness to the room or space around you. And when you feel ready, slowly open your eyes, taking in your present surroundings. We express our heartfelt gratitude for joining us in this session. The next session will begin in 15 minutes past your hour. You're invited to either stay on this YouTube link or leave and return to this same link. If you're interested in taking another step forward with us on your journey, our August Foundations training course, starting on the potent 8-8, is the next natural step and is open for applications until August 1st, just over 2 weeks from now. You can learn more and apply by visiting the link in the chat, and we'll also send an email shortly with a replay from today that will include application details. For our Spanish-speaking audience, we're excited to share that for the first time, we will be offering foundations in Spanish. We have links in the chats for you. If you know someone whose first language is Spanish, please share this link with them. It's going to be a unique experience, and we're excited to see everybody there. Those of you who have taken a first level course with us before, Base Camp or Foundations, we invite you to join us again. Between the most potent energy of April transmissions, the momentum of our Balkans expedition just completed, the energy of the Lionsgate portal, and the infusion of our first Spanish cohort, this Foundations is going to be the most unique and epic to date. Check your inbox for the invitation we sent to you, and if you don't have it, reach out to us. We'll also send another invitation later this week. And last but not least, we have a second free workshop this month, timed with the opening of the Lionsgate portal on Friday, July 28th. As some of you may know, the Lionsgate portal is open July 28th. It peaks on August 8th, which is the start of our August Foundations course. The Lionsgate portal is best described in the quote, "And when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it." We hope this experience sparked your curiosity and inspired you to continuing exploring with us. And we look forward to seeing you again very soon, hopefully at 15 past the hour. Until we meet again, take care of yourself. If you can, give yourself some time before you jump into your next thing. And if you can't, try to carry this alignment into all you touch today. Stay well and keep shining your light, and we'll see you soon.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Good to see you, Crystal.
Thanks. Good to see you on the other side of this, Asil.
Did you need a minute to recollect yourself?
Uh, I did. And also, it was interesting because I was thinking about coming into this conversation and I really wanted to grab a few snippets. So I was paying extra attention,
Hmm.
trying to keep myself from floating off, which I normally do
Hmm.
in these transmissions. And it was quite strong even before we started. I don't know if anybody else experienced that, but it was, I could feel myself like, whoa, okay, not yet. Gotta talk here.
Mm.
So, what was really interesting to me is how clear and concise the message was. Whereas there's normally like a lot to unpack in like one sentence. I
Hmm.
could feel, at least right now, the resonance that stayed with me was um, it's a natural unfolding, right? It's all natural. And the simplicity of us just making a choice and the empowerment theme. So it's like I
Hmm.
went into it thinking, okay, let me, grab a few words of wisdom, and it just really hit me in such a natural way. So
Mm.
so even though I was a little out of it, I
Hmm.
could still.
Yeah. It's like my personal experience. Um, these channelings are always so mind blowing for me. It's like I am in this, it's almost like I'm in this theater. I'm in a
Mm,
seat on the theater, just like everyone else is on a seat. And I'm watching this thing unfold. It's like a
mm,
presentation. And it's not just the words that are coming through of wisdom, but it's like it's a representation. There's visuals, there's energy, there's like it's a spectacle that's like unfolding right before me as I'm sitting in the auditorium of this theater.
cool.
And it's really every single time like and I recognize myself that in the beginning of a transmission my mind is still more active, so my mind is actively observing what is being said, right? And then slightly later, more and more and more, I go much deeper, and the observation of what is being channeled is happening on a different level. It's not the mind anymore. It's suddenly like it's like my soul is receiving it like a sponge, like soaking in it.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I don't know, it never gets old. Like this is incredible.
Yeah, and speaking of that, they used a phrase that I don't believe that they've used before. It
Hmm.
struck me as new, which was the soul's voice.
Hmm.
Have you ever heard them say that before?
Maybe once or twice. They don't use that very often.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm, but I've heard it, and I think it's a really beautiful way of saying that there is a greater voice within us
Mhm.
that is not the mind, that's not the heart, it's not the body, but there is a certain way we are guided and directed by our soul, by our
Mm.
true self.
Yeah.
And that's really beautiful.
Yeah, it was quite poetic.
Mm.
For those of you who are just joining us, coming back from our amazing transmission, what we're doing right now is we're having a little question and answer with a seal, the human, and about the um, foundation for a new era, spiritual foundation for a new era. And these may be long-standing questions that you've had in your heart, in your mind, or they may be questions that were sparked from the channeling that we just received a few moments ago. So if you do have a question about this subject, go ahead and post it in the chat wherever it is that you're watching, YouTube, Facebook, um, Alan Steinfeld's channel on YouTube, whichever. Our support team is monitoring the chat. And there are some questions that are coming through right now, Asil, that kind of relate to um, one of the musings that I had uh, coming out of this transmission, which is, the guys are talking about empowerment and
Mm-hmm.
folding. It's ours to receive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's um, it's ours to share. And one of the questions that emerged for me, and I'll tell you why it's kind of tapped into some of the audience questions as well, is like, what is ours? What is ours to do? And what is the role of the guides? What is the role of as somebody was asking, seraphims
Mm-hmm.
um, and Lord Shiva, and
Mm-hmm.
what is their role versus what is ours? You want to speak a little bit to that?
Yes.
Any perspective? Mm.
Um, After, you know, working with the guides for so many years, I feel that the guides themselves, no matter how powerful beings they are, their role is and has always been to empower us, to remind us of the power that we hold, and ultimately support us by getting us to our own power, to our own creatorship. Now, I believe that's the case for all higher level beings as well. I believe that all higher level beings ultimately want to inspire and spark a greater potential within a human being.
Mm.
So until then, we may need some support. It may be that we are in such a difficult state that we can't even fathom what it means to be in a position of power, like, or being empowered as a human being, right? If you are so deeply in difficult circumstances and challenges, you may need a helping hand to pull you out of that.
Mhm.
And that, to me, is also something that the guides provide through the adjustments, through the encouragement of the words, and through the energy that comes through. So
Mhm.
it's a two-pronged approach. One
Mm.
is immediate help and support and short-term immediate effect, and the other is long-term empowerment of the individual, great alignment, holding and embodying a great potential within. And I believe that's really all higher level guides will have a similar or the same direction.
Mm. Yeah, it's kind of like, when I think about it after hearing you say that, it's almost like there are um, our personal coaches.
Mhm.
They're an extension, right? They're helping us see ourselves.
Mhm.
They're not doing it for us. They're just helping us understand the the true power that lies within us.
Absolutely, and I think they said that many times, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I love when messages from the guides are repetitive and consistent. It
Yeah.
actually builds an incredible amount of trust, right?
Yes.
Because no matter how you ask it from different angles, and this person 5 years later and that person, they're like, this is the answer, this is the way it was 5 years ago, 7 years ago, it's still the same answer, you know, and this is how we're going to deliver it. And to me, it's very reassuring.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, they used words like, you will embody the great potential of this human form, the power that is and has always been yours to hold and wield. Right?
Mm,
Those messages are very similar throughout the last, 7 years that this this channel has been open to you.
mhm.
So yeah, it's great. It's beautiful. I love the message of empowerment that happens over and over again. Let's see. Mariah is asking, um, with all the environmental extremes of Gaia happening, the floods, heat
Mhm.
waves, which you're experiencing right now, right, in Austria,
Mhm.
drought, tornadoes, storms, etc. So many animals, humans, plants are affected. Can collective prayer and personal healing soften it?
That's a good question because I'm not sure. I do believe that to some degree we can adjust and impact the environment, the weather, the movement of the elements, and so on. We can definitely do that. And to some degree, it is almost like a byproduct and a symptom of this rising of energies that's occurring on this plane. So the earth in itself is going through a transformational process, and there is more energy, and she's expelling more energy through her system. I think rather than wishing the outside to change, maybe we should focus on how can we change inside to be able to receive whatever Gaia is going to give us, and trust that this process is also divine in its making.
Mm,
Now, of course, as human race, we should be doing the best we can to serve all life on earth, right, including serve the earth itself.
mhm,
That goes without saying. But I think, you know, wishing the outside world to change, we've done that for thousands of years, right? And circumstances to change. And sometimes it happens and sometimes it works. But I believe the greater power is within us, changing what is in us and how we are receiving reality.
mm. Beautiful. Yeah, it's like you can't control the other person. You can only control yourself. And I think that's what she was asking if
Hmm.
uh personal, well, she said prayer and then collective prayer and then also personal development. So,
Hmm.
yeah, beautiful. Joshua had an interesting question.
Hmm.
He said, um, I loved the concept of Earth as a mother itself and how we are all family. The guides even mentioned the animal families, which are a part of us as one being. I
Hmm.
wonder how our way of feeding ourselves may affect our evolutionary process.
Hmm.
You have any perspective on that?
Well, you know, the guides have spoken a lot about food, and when we're developing, when we're evolving, that spiritual energy, as it's increasing, has a great potential of actually feeding us with everything we need. And that is a process that we might be going through as a species, where we're going to focus on more and more of the gifts of the earth in less and less processed ways, more and more natural, as close to nature as possible.
Mhm,
And then eventually being lighter and lighter in what we eat, and eventually actually not needing physical food to transmute the energy that's moving through us into life energy, life force. So, spiritual transformation will impact how we nourish ourselves, and how we generate energy for life.
Mm.
But the time frame of that, I'm not 100% sure because I'm still eating food, and I I don't know. Like there are days like today, for example, I haven't eaten, so I've like been fasting all day, and I feel perfectly fine. I feel very well nourished. And as you know, Crystal, like I've done longer term fasts as well,
Mhm.
and there is a way where the body switches from expecting food to knowing that it's being nourished by spiritual energy. There
Mhm.
is a way, there's a switch that happens. And, I'm not the first one, and I'm not going to be the last one. There are people that have done very, very long fasts, including like a year or more, sages, gurus, and so on. It's a common theme in spiritual development at the highest level that is possible.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to become possible for everyone, not just for those that are on like a super dedicated path.
Yeah, and I think the guides mentioned that in the transmission, in that um, it'll happen in a natural way,
Hmm.
right? Like ultimately, what we're able to receive energetically will change the constructs of our actual bodies,
Hmm.
and the energy flowing through us will be the greater nourishment. Yeah, yeah, it's an interesting question,
Hmm.
but not for now. Don't starve yourself if you're not feeling it.
It will happen naturally.
It'll happen naturally. You'll naturally feel like, "I don't need to eat today, this week,
Hmm.
this month." Ellie's asking, "Why do I sometimes feel resistance to assimilate, understand, and simply follow words of wisdom or energy coming through a transmission?"
Yeah. So the whole point of resistance and the whole point of what I consider inner conflict
Mm,
has to do with unrealized parts of our consciousness. There are certain parts that develop or have developed over the time of our life, of our existence. And these parts have a certain understanding of life and the way you should live it. They have a certain amount of influence on you. And so the way it works is that part has developed and is present and at times will take over your life. Let's say there is a certain wound that we are carrying. Let's
okay.
say it's a mother wound. And let's say that there is a friend who is triggering that mother wound. That
Mhm.
wound flares up. The trigger is alive. It's screaming within you. And the part of you that is still holding on to that mother wound is now in control. It is in the driver's seat of your being. It responds from that place of the wound, from that place of the trigger, right? That part is now active. Now, ultimately, a situation like that is a great situation because it's an opportunity to see something that you didn't know existed, or maybe you knew, and it's a reminder. So the trigger comes alive, and you're like, oh, okay, there's something I need to work on. And hopefully, you didn't yell at your friend for saying something that they, didn't know what they were stepping into.
You thank them instead.
You thank them instead. Thank you for bringing this wound and this trigger into my awareness. So, resistance to do something or to do things that you know are good for you are similar. There's a part of your consciousness that knows certain things, and there's a part of your consciousness that is controlling certain aspects of your life. Like resistance is I'm resisting those things, those behaviors, those habits, because the way I have been living my life is confirming a belief of myself.
Hmm.
Okay?
Ooh. Mhm.
So that part needs to keep those beliefs alive and active. It
Mhm.
needs to deliver a reality of belief about you. Like, if I would follow the good things, then I would maybe become, a great version of myself. But that part doesn't believe it. It believes a different reality of you. So it has to work against it, because this part has not developed yet. It hasn't realized. It hasn't healed. It's still active, and it will continue to sabotage reality in that particular way. To me, that's super fascinating, right? Because we have all these little saboteurs within us,
Mhm.
right? And when we go into these like different states, and when we like work with meditation or with other practices, and we come into alignment, and we get to see these parts and observe these parts as
Mhm.
what they are: unprocessed realizations, unprocessed trauma, right?
Mhm.
When we
Mhm.
get to observe them and we get to have a relationship with these parts and allow them to become visible, accessible, understandable, then healing can start to occur, because now it's an awareness rather than being in the subconscious or in the
Mhm.
unconscious. So, to me, if someone says, I am resisting this, or they come with resistance, I'm like, okay, so we have a certain part of you that's here and present. Let's see what this part is all about. Like, what does it believe,
Yeah.
right? So the main question that I would ask in this observer state would be like, what does this part of me believe of me and of life?
Mhm.
And once we learn that, magic starts to happen.
Yeah. And what's really great about that is that you'll get the answer very clearly, right? Because that part of you is very active. What do I
especially when
believe about me? This is what I believe about
especially
me.
especially when it's activated, right, Crystal?
Yes.
Like, when it's activated, it'll say, right,
It's gonna
emotional.
tell you.
Like, the emotions will speak.
Yes.
Like, this is what I believe about you. This is what I believe about life, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's really, you know, have you ever had a moment like when you're like, wow, my feelings say that I'm not worthy, or I'm not lovable, or whatever. But my rationale says that's nonsense. Of course I'm lovable and
Yes.
worthy, right?
Yeah.
You have like this inner dichotomy within you
Yeah.
that is just activated, and you're like, what am I going to do with this paradox
Yes. Yes.
inside of me? And I think that's, to me, that's growth potential. To
Mhm.
me, that's a very, very potent place to start any practice.
Yeah. And we do a lot of that in our foundations, or a lot of that, not we do, a lot of that comes up in our foundations course, in our first of the advanced level trainings.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. In fact, what I talked about, this is coming into a state of like observer mode, right?
Hmm.
It's almost like when the guides are working in foundations, they get us into these like higher states of observation.
Hmm.
And then there is an energy that lifts all these like unprocessed parts into awareness. And it's a little bit, you know, I wouldn't say scary is the right word, but it's definitely intense,
Hmm.
because suddenly all these things are in awareness and you're in observer mode, and you might be feeling all kinds of things that are now being processed, and the guides are working and making these adjustments. And then you have to make all these like journaling exercises to think about it and reflect about it. And I think foundations is like, from what we have observed, you
Hmm.
know, it's such a deep transformational process on like, unconscious and subconscious patterns, and the resisting patterns, the unprocessed traumas of the heart and traumas of the body. And it's just happening on all layers.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's happening within a container. Right. So there's a beginning and there's an end to this experience, the intensity, I should say, of the experience, and then there's a trailing, and things happen outside of it, but you're being held in a container rather
Yeah,
than it.
I didn't mean to scare people. Yes, of course, we're holding your hand while you're doing this. Yeah, there is a great container that we have with our ambassadors and incredible team to hold
Well,
everyone through it.
it's really interesting that you brought that up, though, is like our collective container here, because Farah is
Yeah.
saying when we say foundations is a life-changing experience, sometimes we feel a bit of fear or excitement about that expectation. But
Um,
which would be the best way of addressing whatever we imagine or think about a life-changing experience and connect it with
yeah.
the trust that we're ready to change or embrace it,
Yes.
right?
That's
There you
so
go.
good. That's really good.
Right.
So I think that Farah hit it on the head here. Like when someone says life changing experience, like it's a scary thought. Like how far is life gonna change, and what does that mean? Like I have relationships, I have a job, I have things to do, I have a plan in my head, expectations of life. Like what are you gonna change? Who's changing it, and why are you gonna change? And who am I gonna be at the end of it? Now, of course, we want this change to be as gentle as possible. We want this change to be a stable process. And we want this change to be not just like, setting the house on fire,
Right.
right? We want this change to be a sustainable transformational process. But at the same time, we want enough change to occur that it feels like I have actually transformed to a better human being in a period of 4 weeks.
Mhm.
How incredible is that? How many things can you do in 4 weeks that will change you as a human being and will make you a better human being? So that is the way I would go about it, right?
Right.
I would go about, well, how much do you want to change?
Right. And the guides were talking about in the channeling, they were talking about it's happening. You're changing, whether you're changing, the earth's
Yeah,
changing, the new era is coming in, the earth's energies are rising.
totally.
And it's not a matter of like opting in or out of changing. It's a matter of how you're going to address, or
Hmm.
how you're going to meet what's already naturally happening. So, I guess in a lot of ways, I hadn't thought about it before, but in a lot of ways, foundations is like a microcosm of how you meet the rising energies, the changing energies, um, and this, new era, this spiritual foundation for a new era. I didn't make that connection until we started having this conversation. But
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that is kind of what we're doing.
I mean, I feel like the way the guides have been delivering this energy and this wisdom and the adjustments has from the beginning been directed to the change that's coming. Of course, it's like supporting humans to become better humans, but the environment in which we are is changing and transforming at the same time. So we
Hmm.
can make use of the energy of our environment in a better way, in a graceful way,
Hmm.
and at greater capacity.
Yeah.
And I think they said something about, and this is not often they talk about this, they talk about, they said, if at greatest capacity, that we are able to not age. Did you hear that?
I heard something like that. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they said basically if we are at capacity of our energetic body and we receive the energy body to consistently rejuvenate and regenerate the human form,
Mm.
we wouldn't be aging. And I'm like, wow, that is incredible. And it also makes sense, right? It
Yeah.
makes sense because if this creative force that's coming through can actually consistently repair and recreate this physical form to
Yeah.
its highest functionality,
Yeah.
maybe there is no aging. But then I think the construct of reality will change dramatically. Like, how do
Mhm.
we live as a species if we're not aging, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So, leaves many questions open.
yeah. Yeah, and it really like the current times uh, bring those the words, the things that the guides have been talking about, this the rising energies. It can seem very like ethereal,
Hmm.
but the current times of like solar flares and the actual like happenings
Hmm.
that are going on meteorologically
Hmm.
and astrologically, and the
Hmm.
feel the how we're feeling it and how society is receiving that is really quite interesting. The channeling, it was the last channeling that you did for the Balkans expedition. It was in Motivon,
Hmm.
and the guides were talking about Earth as mother and Earth changing and Earth the Earth being able to receive more energy, right? The solar flares. They mentioned solar flares specifically.
Hmm.
And then, like us being in the womb. So if the earth is receiving it, the earth is distilling that down or, to a way that we can receive it,
Hmm.
right? So I thought that was really, really interesting because in this new era that we talk about, it's not like, okay, we've got tinfoil, hats on, and we're waiting for somebody to come and save us or
Hmm.
what have you. We're really just experiencing what's actually happening, right?
Yeah, we're not just experiencing it, right? Like, we are actually being directed to upgrade, like to
Right.
consciously upgrade. And they're basically saying you have a great level of support and mechanisms to change and to transform, to be able to receive these energies.
Yeah.
And to me, that's mind blowing. Like,
Yeah.
we are evolving as human beings.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about, oh, let's meditate and evolve spiritually and consciously. This
Right.
is an evolutionary process that's happening on a mental, on an emotional, and physical level, right?
Yes.
The spiritual foundation we're talking about is impacting all other aspects of our being.
Yeah.
And that allows us to receive solar flares and great energetic outbursts on this
Mhm.
earthly plane.
Yeah.
And wow, like, human evolution on a completely different level.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I hadn't thought before about how solar flares are information, right? Solar flares it's wisdom. It's like really being, like literally being shot out.
It is the love of creation in
Like,
its purest form,
yeah,
right?
packets of information. Psha!
Yeah, it's like raw power of the universe, right? Being directed at the earth and at all
Yeah,
the planets and so on.
yeah,
And we are the recipient of that raw power.
yeah.
And if we know how to receive it, and if we
Mhm.
know how to receive more and more of it, and I'm not talking about just going out into the sun and, getting sunbathed,
Yeah,
but I'm talking about the spiritual energy that's being delivered along with the rays of the sun. There is a lot more that comes in beyond the spectrum that we can see and we can feel. Like, there is a significant spectrum of delivery that happens from the
yeah,
universe, and that we can receive.
yeah. So we've been talking a bit about empowerment, and Franz is asking, how do I get empowered? Will I feel it? Will others feel my change? Do you have any experience, or have the guides really talked specifically about what does it feel like to be empowered?
Yeah. So when the way I feel empowerment is when I feel a greater alignment within myself that allows for a deeper trust in existence, in life, a deeper trust in myself, a greater level of confidence, a greater level of love, a greater level of possibility. So if you listen to all of these words, like, and also Another piece is a greater level of abundance, right?
Mm-hmm.
These pieces are indicators of empowerment. These pieces are indicators that you are developing to become a high potential individual and human being.
Mm.
And when we have this aspect of ourselves unfolding, then and these pieces like abundance and possibility and greater alignment and deeper presence and become like part of our being, it gives us power of choice. The choice what we gonna do with our presence, with our attention, with our intention, with our energy. That's the choice we get to have. And that is great power, right? Because how are you going to apply? This is what the guides say at the end of the transmission today. What are you going to do with this power,
Yeah.
right? What are you going to do with this extra love? What are you going to do with this creative force that you have?
Mm-hmm.
And like, you'll know when you're empowered because you'll feel the power.
Mm.
You'll feel the alignment, you'll feel the emerging of energy, the creative life force that comes through, the livelihood. And naturally, that energy that's overflowing wants to apply itself,
Mm.
right? When we are empowered, we naturally want to apply it. And that becomes like sharing, they talk about generously sharing, abundantly sharing what is moving through you. And with so much, you know, like when I feel into what they're saying, Crystal,
Yeah.
it's like, and Franz, when I feel into what they're saying, it's like there is limitless energy. There's limitless potential that's right here, right now. And all we have to do is just consistently open to it and consistently receive it and consistently allow it to move through us. And the more we let it moving through us, the more we can have of it. The more we can share of it. And we can't really hold on to it because you can't really like store it anywhere. You can't really hold on. It has to move. It's like a river of
Mm.
pure life force. And yeah, that's the way I experience empowerment. This is the way I experience sharing the power.
That's great. I love that that visual of like movement and flow. And we'd love to hear in the chats. I'd love to hear all of you. How do you feel empowerment? How does it? What does empowerment feel like for you?
Hmm.
Especially those of you who have taken foundations or any of our advanced level courses, because I know you feel empowered even when you're facing challenges. I know you feel empowered.
Hmm.
So yeah, and one of the notes that I wrote down was an example of transformation will be set by you: livelihood, love, and presence. And I thought, wow, like the visual of us exuding as humans, like
Hmm.
livelihood, right?
Hmm.
Love, presence, and you'll embody the qualities of this new generation of human existence, which was a note for me that this new generation will have the capacity to more easily exhibit the livelihood, the love, and the presence. So
Absolutely.
I had a vision of some of the children that we know, and especially some of our community members' children who like they totally exude that right now.
I mean, they come with a new programming, right? They come
Yeah,
with new like software and hardware. We
yeah,
have to kind of like work our way there. We have to get like software and hardware upgrades, but
yeah,
they're already coming in with that. It's really quite impressive.
yeah,
And yeah, but I do believe that it's a co-creation, right? It's
yeah,
any one of this generation and previous generations who are alive that can and is willing to do the work that is necessary,
Hmm.
actually can. Like there is absolute the possibility within you. You don't have to be like, you know, passing on and being reborn in order to, be on the bandwagon, so to say.
Yeah.
It is something that's possible within us. It's a template within the human being.
Hmm.
Now, could it be a little bit more work if we have a significant amount of trauma that we haven't processed, and that, we lived a long and rich life, and there's, things to still digest? Yes, that could be the case. But
Hmm.
nonetheless, I also think that processing is accelerating.
Hmm.
That's becoming faster and faster as well. Like the realizations that are coming in, like, it's like popcorn popping in
Yeah.
your being.
Yeah.
Like I've been having this experience in the last week, so it's been like nonstop. Like, I'm driving my car from like one place to another place. On the drive, it's just like one thing after another thing. It's just like streaming in as like
Yeah.
consciousness realizations.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've been having that too, like recently, but it's
Totally.
been definitely accelerated.
Yes. Yes. I was just having a conversation with a dear friend of ours and a community member who has taken our advanced courses. And he was saying that he's to the point now where when he wants to throw up because he's got something that he has to say to somebody that he loves, that is going to be clearing but also uncomfortable, that he's seeing this experience of like, oh god, I'm getting this nausea, okay, I have to say it.
Hmm.
I've gotta say it so that something's cleared between the two of us, and it's happening very, very quickly,
Mhm.
especially over the last few days, is what he's saying. So I don't know if there's something like astrologically going on that's really uh, uh, kicking things up. Which I don't know. We had the 777 portal, the
Mhm.
Lionsgate portal. We roll into that on the 28th. So I
Mhm.
don't know. Maybe we're just in it. But,
It's definitely here, and
mhm,
it's fast and furious. It's
mhm,
very potent forces that are present for transformation.
mhm.
And what better to do than take advantage of the circumstances
Yeah.
rather than being, you know, uh, smashed around by the waves,
Yeah.
right? Just let's surf together. Let's learn to surf.
Yeah.
Let's get on a giant surfboard, everyone, in this community, and like everyone that's going through foundations together. Like, let's figure out how we can get on the surfboard and surf these giant waves,
Yeah.
because they are like giant waves.
Yeah. Do you think in the new era, because we're just talking about astrological events, um, do you think in this new era that even the events themselves will be more intense? The alignments are more significant, or does that not have anything to do with this new era?
I think that with the rising energies,
Hmm.
that every astrological and cosmological alignment will carry more energy, more current. So everything, like a full moon and new moon, they're already getting stronger. Every full moon and every new moon is already much stronger than they used to be. And
Mm,
it's not, I mean, of course, we as humans, we develop and we have like more perception and observational power, but it's not just our sensitivity, it's also the new moon and the full moons are getting stronger for sure. And so, yes, will a Lionsgate get stronger over the years? 100%. And equinoxes and solstices, yes, they will get stronger. So these dates will start to matter more and more
mm,
for practice, for communal gatherings, will for like meditations, like as human race, like to be able to receive the energy and to move with the energy.
yeah, I really feel that too. And I feel that. I feel a quickening of that only recently. Yeah, really interesting. So we had asked the question, what does empowerment feel like to you?
Uh-huh.
And Yolanda said, empowerment feels exciting. I feel blissful in a way that it can't be contained, which is
Hmm.
beautiful. Sammy says, helping all you helpers really empowers me. I know that my work goes far.
Hmm.
Um, Russ said, empowerment is a knowing that I am living as a sovereign being.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Hmm.
Vinayak says, empowerment for me feels like grace and ease in my daily living of life, feeling centered and grounded, as well as aware of my inner guidance.
Brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
And those
So,
are all signatures of empowerment.
mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ava says, there's a sense of effortlessness and inner confidence within me with empowerment, and the knowing that there is divine guidance and assistance on this journey is beautiful to witness. So, yeah, good. Which leads me to another question that came up from Martha Lynch.
Yes.
Um, Martha is asking, um, when the guides assist humanity with clearing and aligning spaces, as was done on the Balkans trip, is there
Yes.
also a clearing of individuals living there? And you might speak to the intersection of free will and sovereignties in the ways these stuck energies affect the wider community. So that's also, kind of part of the new era
Mm.
um, experience of like, okay, so we're going to these places,
Yeah.
and there's alignment that's being done, and
Hmm.
energy is now moving within those sites. How does that actually affect those that were there, being a part of it, those that are in the region as a result of it, and what if they, don't want to get on that surfboard, or they
Hmm.
don't want to, like, will it affect them whether they are consciously aware of it or not?
Yes. So the energy lines of this earth carry energy, and the energy that's carried through these energy lines serves all life in material and in non material form. These energy lines require attunement because they've fallen out of attunement through human impact and human influence.
Mm.
and and sometimes otherworldly influences. But let's stick with that. And what we do when we go to these sacred sites, when we do attunements to allow for the energies to move with greater ease and with greater balance and harmony across all of the earth and that region itself, yes, of course, it will have an effect on everyone there, because the energies that are rising can move with greater, I want to almost say like greater order. Like there is a certain level of order that's like, you know, imagine energy moving across the plane evenly rather than chaotically,
Mhm,
right? So, yes, they will get more uh, of that energy in a more even and in a more harmonious way,
mhm,
rather than in a chaotic way when some energy lines are open, some are closed, some are, blocked, and sometimes, collective trauma is holding energy locked up, or
mhm,
it's bursting up into like more collective trauma.
mhm,
So we definitely believe that the work that we do with these type of sacred earth missions are greatly affecting humanity. Now, you might say, well, the individuals are affected by it, but they didn't really agree that you are adjusting some sacred sites in their backyard, right? But I do believe that it is, like, the work that we're doing is not, like, the goal is not to, like, the primary goal is not directed to the individual. The primary goal is directed to all of humanity. It's like an effect of humanity receiving the benefit of this adjustment of the energetic grid of the earth and the benefit of the earth itself. So that's the primary goal. In the secondary instance, humans are affected in a positive way.
There you go. I see it as, you have the opportunity at that point to feel more of yourself. There's one less variable in the way of your evolution if you happen to be in that region. And whatever your version of this human experiment is for you, is going to be what it is. But you do there's like a letting, an off gassing or letting off of the pressure of these other variables of like, oh, I just feel, why do I feel so tense in this area? Well,
Hmm.
relieving of that pressure um, allows for that to not be there. So
Crystal, shall we
yeah,
go move into a meditation?
I think it's a great idea. Thank you very much for all the questions. We didn't get to a couple, but I think over
They were
time
great questions.
we've got lots of Saturday transmissions that will be new, starting back in September. We have a whole treasure trove of wisdom that you can find. We have a channeling archive. So if you have any questions, like there was a question about AI, I believe we've asked Emmanuel about that question in the past.
Mhm.
Somebody talked about sovereignty. We did a whole
Yeah.
topic based on sovereignty. So you've got 2 months worth of transmission from the Elohim, a transmission from Emmanuel, and a Q&A with Emmanuel. So your questions do not go unnoticed, and they've probably already been answered in some way, shape, or form. So
Hmm.
I'd invite you to go into our channeling archives and check it out.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, super grateful for all the questions.
Mhm.
And yeah, and also we have like another one of these workshop and transmission plus Q&A in about almost 2 weeks from now, right? Or
Yes,
less
yes.
than 2 weeks.
Friday, July 28th. Yeah,
Friday,
which is
July
the
28th.
timed with the opening of the Lionsgate portal. That'll lead up to the apex of the
Yes.
Lionsgate portal, which will be 8/8, which is when we're starting our
Yes.
foundations course.
We will open the portal all together. That's amazing. All right. Well, let's do a bit of a meditation. Let's put some of the things that the guides have spoken about into practice.
Perfect.
Let's see how you can take the energy that is still present from this transmission and how you can activate it within yourself. Because your ability to tap into it makes you a master of your life. Your ability to tap into that silence makes you independent, makes you sovereign, makes you empowered. So that's what we want. And for that, we have to practice a little bit together. So here we go. I invite you to close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. And almost with no effort, there is a natural relaxation that occurs. The body, the heart, the mind naturally relaxing. And imagine there is a pure, energetic river that is moving through you from the top of your head, of your being, to the bottom of your being, from the crown to the root, and energy moves with ease your center channel, your center alignment. And if you follow this line through you all the way to the top, you'll end up in the universe, in the infinite of existence. And if you follow the line from your root all the way to the bottom, you'll end up in the core of the earth, from spirit to matter. And this connection, this alignment, can immediately show up when we bring silence into our moment. And we just remember to keep breathing. And the energy moves naturally, without effort, taking us deeper and deeper into an expanded state of consciousness. Our level of presence increases. Our relaxation increases. Our tensions decrease. Our openness increases. Our trust increases. And if you have thoughts coming through or emotions arising, just observe them without judgment and allow them to move in this stream that is moving through you. Just imagine that stream carries everything, a clean and pure stream that we are all in. And imagine this stream of energy touching all your cells of your body, in your organs, everything in your being. And imagine all these cells are lighting up and sparkling, inspired and catalyzed by this freshness. And the body knows what to do with this energy. It is familiar with this energy. It knows how to utilize this energy for healing, for regeneration, for rejuvenation, for recreation, for realignment. Nature does what it was programmed to do, and it does it best when it's provided a fresh and powerful source of energy. That is what we're doing right now. We're allowing nature and this creation, this existence, to do what it does best, to serve us, to support us, to uplift us, to bring alignment into our life. And if you want, you can have intentions, or you can direct the energy into certain aspects of your being, or you can just trust that this energy is intelligent. It knows what to do and how to do it. There is no need for you to manage what it should do. And as we're finding greater levels of trust in this, and the more we open, the more energy streams through us. There is sheer unlimited amount of energy. How much can we receive? And the energy is lighting up all these cells and all these parts of our being, our mind, our heart. Our soul is lit. The energy body is glowing. Any shadows are cleared. Any stagnant energies are moving and clearing again. And this energy is so familiar, is so trustworthy. It is the pure love of creation. It has no beginning, it has no end. It has no judgment, it has no agenda. It does not discriminate, it just is. And allow yourself to be a vessel for this energy, for it to move through you without any obstruction, for it to flow out of you, your hands, your feet, your eyes, your skin, abundantly filling the space that you're in, filling rooms and houses and buildings, neighborhoods. What a great wave we are creating wherever we are. What a great possibility that we have as individuals to be a vessel of this love of creation. And this, friends, is the begin of a new spiritual foundation. This is our greatest power facing the greatest challenges of human existence. If we know, if we understand, if we trust, and if we receive this love of creation at its highest potential, we are well equipped to receive life with whatever it has to offer. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and seal your practice with deep gratitude and an acknowledgement of yourself and everyone else that has joined with you on this journey. Thank you all. Many blessings to you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining and being part of this. For those of you who were inspired by this, you can watch the replay. You can also forward this along to anyone that you feel would be inspired by this as well. We had just talked about in 2 weeks, July 28th, we have another one of these really special workshops. It'll be the same format, and we're hoping that you can all join us and let your friends know about it as well. And we do have an application process for foundations that closes on August 1st. First. And it's really simple. It's just submitting your name and your email address, and then a seal goes into state. And Emmanuel, one of our celestial guides, is actually the one who shares whether you're ready for it at this point in time, or whether this at this moment in time would not support your growth. But it's important to know that you can't just enroll, you've got to go through that step first. So the sooner you get into the application pool, the quicker you can get the answer. And then there is some work that you can start before the beginning of the course on the 8th, some meditations and things like that. So um, the sooner you get in, the sooner you'll be in that flow. And we invite all of you to participate. Those who are repeating don't need to go through that application process, as you know. And we'll send another email out later on this week with an invitation. But if you want the link right away, message us, and we'll get it over to you, the enrollment link.
And I can't stress this enough, right? If you have done foundations, do it again. If you have not done it yet, apply. And if you've done it and you know how powerful it is, bring those that you love that can and want to receive this, bring them along.
Yeah.
And you'll see the power that it will have on your life and their lives. So I'm super excited to share this foundations in August with all of you.
Yeah, and thank you for your time and your energy. We really charged the space in the world, the field,
Mm-hmm.
with in these last 2 hours. So
I
I
feel
appreciate
that.
all of the energy that you all brought. We appreciate you. We love you, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Blessings.
Take care. Bye, everybody.